Hello everyone, long time no speak once again, but today I'm going to make a video about my mental health story because I think it's really important to talk about mental health and break the stigma, so that's what I'm going to do. If I'm looking down, it's because I've got notes on my phone and this folder that I kept from my whole hospital admission. I'm just going to put in a trigger warning here because I'm going to be talking about self-harm, suicide, eating, so if you're not in the right place, don't watch this. There's also going to be pictures, so yeah, trigger warning, but I'm going to try and do this as just honest and one take because I want this to be as raw as possible because yeah, this is my story and it's very real. So let's just get started. So my mental health story starts when I was 12, which I know is quite young. So I was in year 8 and I self-harmed for the first time, which I don't understand why I did it, to be honest. But I was really struggling at the time with my eating and just a lot of anxiety. I stopped going to school because I was so anxious all the time and I felt like I needed to take it out on myself, which is really sad, and I can't believe I was that young and was thinking those things, but obviously that showed that something was wrong right from the very start. So I went to my GP a few times and they sort of fobbed me off and were like, you're 12, you know, it's just a phase, you're growing up, it'll go away. And so no one really took me very seriously and they told me to see my school counsellor, who I stayed with for 3 years, but it didn't really help very much. So in 2018 I was referred to CAMHS, which took a lot of fighting for because again I was told I wasn't ill enough, which is a running theme in this. So I was referred to CAMHS. I saw the original assessment people and they said yes, you need to continue with us. So I had a few sessions with her and she was really lovely, but she just couldn't provide the right support for me anymore because I had got really ill really quickly. So in August I took my first overdose, which I don't remember why. I was really unwell and quite psychotic, so I would disassociate and be psychotic and not know what I was doing, and yeah, and I just thought, no one's helping me, you know, I'm so stuck, I don't know what to do. I just had my exams which were really stressful and just didn't help with the stress I was already having with everything. So yeah, I took my first overdose and got seen by CAMHS the next day and they assessed me and said that they would like to see me more regularly. They put me on fluoxetine, which didn't really help me, unfortunately, and sent me home. So then between August and October I took 5 overdoses, which is crazy, and every time apart from the 5th time they sent me home with a plan and extra support. And it's such a shame because I was seeing such lovely people, but the funding just isn't there, and they were giving me all the support that they could, but it just wasn't working. They upped my dose of fluoxetine, but it wasn't working. So I took my 5th overdose and I was admitted to hospital, and that was my most serious attempt. I was quite unwell and very sick, and I was assessed, and I basically told them that if you let me go, I'm going to end my life. And so they kept me in for a week, and then I got reassessed, and they told me that I needed to go into a psychiatric hospital, which scared the shit out of me, to be honest. Yeah, it was terrifying, because I had all these preconceived ideas about psychiatric hospitals. I was 17 at the time, so I was in an adolescent ward, and I went in informally because they said basically you can go in informally or we will section you. So really there wasn't much of a choice there. So I went in informally because I was like, I want to get better, I need the help. I was also diagnosed with OCD whilst I was in the community, and those symptoms had just got ridiculous. Like, I was washing my hands so often, using hand sanitizer all the time. I wouldn't touch doors. I used a cloth or just got stuck between doors and got other people to open them for me because I was so afraid. It just got ridiculous and I couldn't handle it anymore. So I decided to go into hospital. I was also put on aripiprazole then to help with the psychotic thoughts, voice hearing experiences, and yeah. So then not much happened. I'm just gonna look at my hospital notes. I was still on fluoxetine and not much really happened between then and November, when I took another overdose and ended up in the general hospital again whilst on leave. Because I was informal, I could just go out on unescorted leave. So I took another overdose and I said I would come back informally again. So I got the chance to come back informally, which I was very thankful for because I was so afraid of being sectioned. I didn't really know what it meant, to be honest, so I was just terrified of the idea. And then not much happened. I was getting iller. My medication wasn't really working. The aripiprazole helped, but they tried to take me off it because the consultant thought I didn't need to be on it when it was actually really helping me. So they lowered my dose, which just made my psychotic symptoms worse, which was horrible. And I told them I need to be on this. Like, you don't understand how essential it is for me. And they put me back on it. And then they changed my fluoxetine to sertraline because I told them that the fluoxetine wasn't doing anything, and they listened and changed it. And I also got put on PRN lorazepam to help calm me down when I was really distressed, which was good. But in December I was put on a section 5-4 because I expressed a need to leave the ward. I don't really remember, I wasn't very well, but I basically wanted to leave and they saw right through me. So I was put on a 5-4 and then a 5-2, and then the doctors decided that the least restrictive way to move forward was to let me be informal again, which I was quite thankful for again because I did not want to be sectioned. But in January I ran away again whilst on leave and refused to come back, so I was put on a 5-4 and then a 5-2 again. Basically, a section 5-4 is nurses holding powers, which is 6 hours, I believe, and then you get assessed by a doctor who can put you on a section 5-2, which is 72 hours holding power, so you are detained for 72 hours, and then you have to have a mental health act assessment to see if you need to be on a section 2, which is a month. So I was put on a 5-4 and then a 5-2, and then I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act, which was horrible, and I just didn't think I needed it. I was like, I will stay informally, but I was too ill to see that I really did need it, because I was so in an episode that I just was so delusional and I didn't really know what was going on. By this point, I'd also lost a lot of weight. Like, I got to my lowest weight ever with my eating. It just went downhill so fast, and I got put on a meal plan and meal support, which is basically, a meal plan is quite self-explanatory. It's just what you have for breakfast, what you have for snack, what you have for lunch, what you have for afternoon snack, what you have for dinner, and then what you have for evening snack is all planned out. So that's what you have to have, and you have someone sit with you and eat with you. And then I had post-meal support, so someone had to sit with me for an hour after I ate, and then half an hour after snacks. And there were all sorts of rules, like they limit meals to 30 minutes, so you have 30 minutes to eat your meals, and snacks to 20 minutes. And you'll be supervised at all meal times and for all snacks. You'll be supervised for an hour after meal times and half an hour after snacks. We're not allowed to swap the meals or snacks that are planned. Each meal and snack contains a drink, and they wouldn't let us drink a lot of water before meals. We weren't allowed to debate about food or discuss portion sizes. We were expected to start meals and snacks straight away. Everything that was offered must be eaten. They discouraged fizzy drinks and drinking too much caffeine, no chewing gum or mints. We weren't allowed to know the calorie content of meals, and they had to regularly review bloods, and I got weighed every Monday, and physical obs, so blood pressure, pulse, etc., which was really difficult for me because I couldn't see that I'd lost weight. I thought I was fat, I thought I was overweight, and I just couldn't see it because I was so deluded and just not myself, which was really sad. And yeah, so then it was February and I got put on a section 3. Basically, at the end of your section 2, you have to have a Mental Health Act assessment, which they're so shit. I hate them, but it was very necessary. And by February, I got even more ill. I was more delusional. I was saying I want to be informal, basically. I was saying I will stay informally, but then I'm going to discharge myself home, which was stupid. And I shouldn't have been doing that, but in my mind I was like, I'm fine, I'm ready to go home, which was not the case at all. So I was put on a section 3, which was shit. And yeah, I don't remember much of February. It was a really weird month. I was threatened to go to a PQ, which is a psychiatric intensive care unit, because I was just having so many incidents and I was so poorly. Like, I was disassociating all the time. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where I was or who I was. I didn't know who people around me were. I was so psychotic. I was hearing so many voices, and it was just really tough. And I was granted unescorted leave in February, but I then took another overdose, went on unescorted, because basically when I was ill I could be very manipulative, and I'm ashamed of saying that because no one wants to be manipulative, but I could be. I convinced them I was fine and ready to have unescorted leave, and they granted me it, and I abused that and took an overdose. I ended up in general hospital again on a drip and had to be on one-to-one, which was awful. I just did so much shit in hospital that I just regret, but I was so poorly, like, I can't believe. And then I got out of the general hospital and I had to be put in the ECA of my ward, which is the extra care area. It's basically has the rules of a PQ and it's segregated from the rest of the ward. So yeah, I was in there for a day and then I was let out again, but it was really tough and that was the worst month of my life. I don't remember much of March, to be honest. I had leave but with staff and I was struggling quite a bit, but I think I really had that switch of, oh, I want to get better now. Like, when I was in ECA, I was just like, I can't keep doing this to myself. Like, it's been crazy and I don't want to go to a PQ. I want to get out of hospital. So I really had a mindset shift and that changed everything, really. I got my unescorted leave back in March, which I had 15 minutes 5 times a day, which was amazing. So I could just go out for a bit of fresh air and then come back, which kept me sane, to be honest. I finished DBT, which honestly changed my life, but I was still really mad because I didn't have a diagnosis. I had the diagnosis of OCD, but that did not cover everything that I was experiencing. So I was like, okay, I want a diagnosis, and they were like, well, we're not gonna diagnose you until you're closer to discharge. And I was like, why? That doesn't make any sense. I just want answers. And the consultant was just really reluctant to diagnose because I am 17. So yeah, I got my unescorted up to 30 minutes 5 times a day, which was amazing. And then in April, I was set a discharge date. No, sorry, end of March. I was set a discharge date because I had improved so much, which was amazing. I'd got back to a healthy weight, which I am still at. I'd got a lot better with my eating and I started coming off meal support, which is amazing. And yeah, I got a discharge date, which after 6 months was just crazy. I couldn't believe it. So I worked hard to make sure I was getting out on that date because it meant a lot to me. I appealed my section because I was wondering, if I've got a discharge date, why am I still on section? It didn't make any sense to me. So yeah, and then I was diagnosed. The consultant sat down with me and basically he told me that I have borderline personality disorder, a depressive episode, disordered eating, transient psychosis as part of my BPD, and yeah, OCD. So when I got the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, everything made a lot more sense. Like my mood, my impulsiveness, the psychosis, it just clicked and I was like, this is why, and this isn't me. Because for so long I thought I was a terrible person, but it wasn't me, it was my illness. And I think that's so important. I got put on a new PRN, promethazine, which helped me more than the razapam, which was amazing. They finally sorted out my meds. So I was on highest dose of sertraline, aripiprazole, and promethazine as PRN, which really helped me. and then I got off my section, which actually only happened a few days ago. So on Monday the 7th? No. Monday the 8th? Yeah, Monday the 8th, I was taken off section, which after 4 months of being on section was amazing. So I am now an informal patient, and in 2 days I'm getting discharged from hospital after 6 months, which is amazing. And I've got such good community support now. Like, outreach have been incredible to me, and I've got a new care coordinator who seems really great, and yeah, there's just going to be a lot more support in place for me now, and I can't wait to be home. I'm on leave at the moment until my discharge, so I'm basically home now, and it's just been incredible. And I just want to thank everyone who's been so supportive to me through all of this. Like, your support means the world to me, and yeah, I'm just really thankful for everything. So yeah, sorry that this video was probably quite a ramble and wordy, but that was my mental health story, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm gonna start making a lot more videos now that I'm home because I really enjoy it. And yeah, so I'll see you next time. Bye!